Leadership can take a toll on the best of us. No matter how strategically and/or effectively we fulfill our roles and responsibilities, the need to constantly juggle pressing demands and urgencies can be very demanding and can cause stress levels to rise, unless we learn how to manage it wisely. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Stay tuned as we explore 3 tips that will help you manage stressful situations more effectively so that you can stay focused and move forward with clarity and intention. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sabine Renner. I'm an organizational psychologist, leadership and personal development coach and trainer, and researcher in the field of positive psychology. On this channel, you will find proven and actionable tips, tools, and strategies to empower aspiring leaders to take the lead and succeed at work and beyond. Today, I want to talk about a very important topic that has turned into a major problem for so many of us, and that is work-related stress. Work-related stress is the response people have when they are presented with work demands and pressures that are actually not matched to their knowledge and abilities and which challenge them in their ability to cope. Stress can be caused by many different factors, such as, for example, the demands of our job, the ability to control how our work is being conducted, the information and support that we receive, the relationships that we experience, our understanding or lack thereof of our role and its responsibilities, as well as changes and transformations that we have to go through. Stress, if it becomes unmanageable, not only affects our health and well-being, but also our productivity and effectiveness. In times of heightened stress, it is so easy to lose sight and move off track. So what can we do to not only take good care of us, but also of those who we lead while staying on top of things? Here are 3 tips. Tip number 1, become resourceful. Being resourceful means that we are able to find effective ways to overcome difficulties and move forward. However, moving into a state of resourcefulness is incredibly difficult when we at the same time experience emotions such as fear, overwhelm, frustration, or helplessness, which often show up in high-pressure, high-stress situations. Now, why is that? Emotions have a huge effect, often subconsciously, on how we experience life and its challenges, and how we assess any given situation. They influence what we think, what we say, and what we do. Now, these emotions are typically triggered as a response to a particular situation. In ancient times, they have been quite life-saving from an evolutionary point of view. When I, for example, saw that a tiger was approaching me, I knew instinctively that I better stop thinking and start running, and my system moved into survival fight or flight mode and allowed me to act fast and efficiently. In today's world, fear as well as other negative emotions are causing a similar reaction, but that reaction oftentimes doesn't cause us to function at our best. We lose access to our resourceful and solution-oriented selves. Our thinking narrows and we fall back to problem thinking and non-productive thought and behavioral patterns. So what can we do to counterbalance negative emotions and the effect they have on us? Research findings from the field of positive psychology indicate that positive emotions can be very powerful allies in this regard. Research conducted by Professor Barbara Fredrickson has shown that our brains start to function differently when we experience positive emotions such as gratitude, joy, hope, inspiration, pride, and the feeling of being connected with others. It affects our ability to change perspective, broaden our thinking, and enhance our awareness. Positive emotions change the way our brain processes information and help us to tap into our creative potential, to find solutions where we first saw none. We actually become much more flexible, creative, and resilient. Now, what is interesting in this regard is that it's not so much the intensity, but more importantly, the frequency of the emotions experienced. Prescribing to a daily dose of positive emotions can indeed make a huge difference in our ability to cope. It's a bit like pressing the reset button. Our ability to access positive emotion helps us to reduce our reactions to stress and consequently look at things much more objectively and resourcefully. So now that we know about the power of positive emotions, how can we actually bring more of them into our lives? Not only for our own sake, but knowing that it will also have positive effects on those around us, and it will enable us to remain resourceful in the midst of stressful times. Here are a couple of questions that you might find helpful. What can I be grateful for today? How can I express my gratitude to those around me, particularly my team and others who support me? What is something that I enjoyed doing today or recently? What is something I can be proud of today or recently? What is something that strikes my interest and that inspires me? How can I be more intentional in my relationships? And who could support me, or how could I be of service to others? As you think through these questions and start putting your answers into action, you will notice how the power of positive emotions unfolds and guides you into more resourceful states. Tip number 2, be responsible. Now, check out the spelling on this one. It's intentional. Whether we like it or not, life and work confront us with challenges. Whether it's a looming deadline, an unexpected demand that we cannot deny, a conflict that is looming, stuff is happening all the time. Each of these instances is a stimulus, something that triggers us. The question is, what are we going to do about it? And how are we going to respond? Austrian neurologist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl once said that between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Frankl had this realization while facing the most inhumane conditions in Second World War concentration camps. He realized that while there was very little he could do to change the circumstances imposed on him, he still had the freedom to choose how to respond to them, to be responsible. For us, being responsible means to realize that every new situation, every challenge or change ahead provides us with an opportunity to consciously choose how to respond. Being responsible means to be proactive and to take responsibility. One of the key drivers that causes us to move on and to make an effort is the belief that we have control. Yet oftentimes the reality is that we might not be able to directly control or influence the bigger picture events. Now, what is crucial in these kind of situations is to not give in to the feeling of helplessness, but to instead take an inventory of all the stressors and challenges that we face and the goals that we have, and to then separate them into 2 categories: things that we can control or at least influence, and things that we can't. Once we have these 2 categories, we can consciously choose to let go of those things that we cannot control because they are out of our hands, and to focus on those where our efforts will really make a difference. Now, ideally you pick one topic on which you can start to act immediately and aim for a short-term win. This way, your confidence and sense of being in control will grow and make it even easier for you to follow through on the other aspects. And now, last but not least, tip number 3, stop. To ask the right questions. When stress levels are rising and the nagging sense of overwhelm is increasing, it can be very effective to take a step back, to stop and disengage from the burning pressures, threats and challenges and the emotional intensity of it, to think clearly and to make conscious decisions, to then move forward with confidence and courage. Stop is an easy-to-follow coaching process which was introduced by Tim Galway, one of the pioneers of coaching. It has 4 phases and it goes as follows. S stands for stop. Pause, take a breath, and disengage from the tunnel vision of the moment. Give yourself the time and space to think and sharpen your awareness so that the world around you becomes more understandable. T stands for think. Ask yourself the right questions. Choose carefully, because the wrong questions will give you misleading answers. Make sure that your questions help you gain awareness, and then focus on solutions instead of problems. Here are a couple of questions for your exploration. What are the challenges and stress factors that I'm facing? In which one of these areas could I, assume that I make a dedicated effort, move forward in the short term and create a success experience that puts me on a positive trajectory? What is under my control? What resources could I access? And in this regard, a very important question to ask yourself is, who could I ask for help? Means that even as a leader, we don't hesitate and ask for support. What do I have to or want to say no to so that I can focus on what really matters? What boundaries would I like to set with regard to my responsibilities, but also boundaries between work and my personal life, so that I actually have the time and space to take good care of myself and my family and those people who matter. O is for organize your thoughts. If you look at the findings of your exploration, what are these telling you? What do you want to focus on? What plan do you want to put forward? And what will be your sequence of actions? And then, finally, P stands for proceed. Focus on those things which you can control and influence, and decide proactively to respond to the challenges ahead, and to then move forward with calm, clarity, and focus to have a positive impact for yourself as well as others. I hope you find these ideas helpful in navigating through stressful times. If so, hit the like button and let me know which one of these resonated most with you in the comment section. Curious to learn more proven actionable tips, tools and strategies that will help you and your team succeed? Well, then hit the subscribe button to stay tuned and have a look at this video in which I share further insights on how to manage your time effectively to increase your impact and reduce your stress. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.